What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. And we are back Monday. This is a big Monday for the show. So we're going to kind of let people come in as they do and jump into the queue here because we're going to talk about what went down last weekend. There's a lot of stuff that went down. We had UFC 313, and we had some interesting outcomes there that we're going to touch upon. But the main thing we're going to start the show off with is Justin's Bareknuckle Fight. So rarely on channels, right? Yeah, we have other channels with other UFC fighters and things like that. They're going into battle and doing their thing. So obviously that's a big focal point when they return from battle. So here we have one of our own. Justin has returned from battle, and he had his first ever Bareknuckle fight. We got a crazy video that we shot in the locker room right after his fight. But I'm going to just turn it over to Justin and let him talk about the fight and let him talk about the recovery and everything since then. But yeah, Justin, why don't you take it away? And Western says, hey, lads, what's up? You're about to hear it first from Justin James about his Bareknuckle fight.
Yeah, man. Bareknuckle fight. Obviously, we didn't get the win that we wanted to. Lloyd Mix, super tough dude, really gritty. It's first round. I took a slip. They counted it as a knockdown. Kind of annoyed. Well, I was a little annoyed right that.
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
regardless, the fights don't usually go 5 rounds, anyways, especially when you're throwing heat like Lloyd and I. So I was kind of frustrated in the first. I thought I won the second round. Somewhere in the second round, I threw like we call it a baiter shot, where it's like a feint shot to a left hook. I hit him in the back of the head. Um, my hands started hurting. I started swelling up really quick. Assumed that I broke something in the hand. My knuckles are pretty swollen today on both sides. But going into the third round, and it's like, dude, when you got someone like Lloyd coming after you, all I could think of is like, how am I going to survive 2.5 more rounds, 3 more rounds, with this? And I tried to play defense. I was making a miss in the third. Then he was able to back me up into the corner, leash some hell on me. I took a knee. That was a legit one, just because I wanted him to stop, to be
Yeah.
honest, And then there was another exchange we got in the corner that we both fell down. I fell on top of him. My arm fell through the cage.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
crazy.
I've
That
never
was
had I've never had that happen before. Like I'm laying on top of him, my arm is I'm elbow deep. Half my arm is on the outside of the cage. Half my other arm's in the cage, and yeah, it was this weird thing, and I just couldn't defend anymore. I'm covering up like so, but my hands were so battered. He was punching me in my hands, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to take any more damage. And essentially, that was the end.
when we were watching. So I commentated Justin's fight. So when we were watching in the booth, I remember when you got your hand stuck in the cage, and I saw Lloyd. You were on top of Lloyd, almost like you were, whatever, as if you were grappling him, right? But you fell on top of him, and he was just like, "What the heck's going on? Like, get up, get off me!" And you were like, we saw you like trying to get your hand out, and it wouldn't go, so he had to like move, and then somehow it got trapped under there, so they had to wriggle it out. Yeah, that was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that before. And Justin, because Louisa's not here today, somebody's at the door. I'm gonna have to answer this, but just can you talk about, I'm listening, let me, as I get the door, can you talk about what was a bare knuckle fight like compared to an MMA fight? Give me one second.
So yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of similarities. The emotions go high, the emotions go low. But I'd say the biggest difference was, trying to take care of your weapons. In an MMA fight, when you have gloves on, you have your wraps on. I've never really thought about, trying to hold back power, hold back speed, hold back, giving damage. And that was something that I was really trying to focus on in the fight. Because, you hit somebody in the top of the head, the forehead, your night can end quickly, and that's kind of what happened to me. Being a power puncher, you can't just throw 100% power because again, your hands are at risk from being broken, from being compromised for the rest of the fight. I feel that's what happened in the second round. My lack of experience in the bare knuckle, because man, Lloyd and I we were throwing, man. We weren't pulling punches, man. And
Yeah.
I cracked him a couple good times, and he cracked me a couple good times. But the biggest difference was obviously not having the gloves on, worrying about compromising my hands in the heat of battle, and I've never felt that before. It's like when I've been in competition, it's like I'm throwing 100% power. If something happens, it happens, but usually it didn't. And unfortunately, even with two-minute rounds, when you're throwing 100% power and you're hitting bone on bone, hitting those knuckles into the head, into the skull, it's if shit. Even when I hit it, like I even got one good like this. This was his tooth. That's his lower. That was his bottom tooth. Like I just sank one right in there, and I just remember hitting him right in his canine. So even just little things like this, and I feel a lot better today. But yeah, my hands, as you can tell, it's still swollen. Still can't really make a fist. But yeah, I'm thinking like this one might be a little compromised in here, and we'll go to the doctor. We'll check it out, and I got a great staff that's going to take care of me.
When are you planning to go to the doctor?
I just woke up. I slept in today, so I'll probably go today in the next couple hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. Something you said, I don't know if you remember saying this after the fight, but we were asking you how to go. MGAL4 Production says, how did it go? So we were just talking about that. So Justin actually, unfortunately, did lose the fight, but he also sustained a broken hand, which is, I guess, relatively common in bare knuckle. I'm not sure. But, I mean, yeah, I do want to ask how you're feeling, but one of the and we're going to ask that in 1 second, let you answer. But one of the things that Justin did tell me after the fight, he's like, that doing bare knuckle was not fun. I don't know if you still feel that way, but you're like, yo, getting hit with bare knuckles was not fun. Punching in bare knuckles was not fun. Do you still feel that way? Is that something that you kind of never want to do again?
I mean, for the right price, I'll do anything again. You want to write me a check? Yeah, I'll show up. The reason, see, fighting to me is, it's like I just want to go all out, and I want to do damage, and I want to, have highlight reel knockouts and stuff. The part that wasn't fun, besides taking the damage from bare knuckles, which sucks, but I expected that, and I've taken that before, so I wasn't really that bothered by the damage taking. It's the damage that you give to yourself. The shit. Do I throw 100% power here? Oh man, if I hit him behind the ear instead of in front of the ear, and my knuckles going to be compromised. And it brought in a whole new. The reason I said it wasn't fun wasn't because of the action or because of the damage I could do to Lloyd, or the damage Lloyd could do to me. It was the damage that I could do to myself that I didn't really take into consideration. And I just remember in the back when I was warming up and I'm hitting mitts, bare knuckle for the first time ever. Actually, I hit the bag bare knuckle, but I've never hit mitts bare knuckle, and my knuckles were starting. It was like, man, this is different. This is different. And then Roman, my head coach my head coach for this fight was just very adamant. I'm like, hey, just throw your speed, man. You're fast. You don't need to hit him hard. You got hard knuckles. And then I came out in the first round, and we kind of were feeling each other out. And then as the fight went on, I was throwing harder and harder. And then at the end of the second round, man, I just happened to hit him like right here in the back of the head with a left hook, and unfortunately compromised myself. And that was the part that wasn't fun because that's not something that I really want to worry about, is hurting myself in the fight. Holding myself back. Because remember, I'm in there for entertainment. I want to get knockouts. I want to injure my opponent. And if having that feeling of shit, I better not try to punch too hard because I don't want to hurt myself, wasn't enjoyable. Because again, if you guys watch me, it's like I like to throw 100% power. I have bad intent in everything I do, and unfortunately, in bare knuckle, I just feel that I couldn't really use that weapon, and it's one of my best weapons.
MGAL4 Productions says hand hurts from hitting his tooth. Haha, yeah, it's crazy. And also says broken hand is painful. I have had one. I broke my little pinky knuckle right there way back in the day when I was in college, but I'm sure yours is a much bigger and more serious break than what I've been through, but it is a pain in the butt. And I guess you're going to probably now have to get a cast and have to wait until it recovers. But I mean, other than that, you came out pretty unscathed, right? Like you had, I see you got a black eye, but you seem like great and good spirits, like totally clear, ready to go after the fight. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, man. I mean, I went. I did a sport that I've never done. Lloyd's one of the best in the world. Maybe I was a little overconfident in my ability. I still think that I'm a better boxer than Lloyd. It's just unfortunate when you get compromised. It just is what it is, man. I'm not bummed about it. I'm not mad about it. I'm not sad about it. Again, I went and did a totally different sport. I was totally out of my realm. I think at one point in the match, I might have been rocked a little bit, but we ended up in this big flurry. I shoot a double leg, I pick him up, and I was like, oh shit, I got to set him back down. And I set him back down to his feet.
Yeah.
We had kind of laughed there for when I picked him up and I set him back down. I was like, oh, sorry. He's like, oh, it's no problem, no problem. And we kind of had a moment there, but yeah, like I said, I'm glad I did it. It was a great check mark to click off. It was chaos. I knew it was going to be chaotic, but until you're in there and dealing with the chaos firsthand, it's hard to judge the level of is chaoticness a word?
Chaos. I know what you mean.
it's like it's hard to judge the level of chaos you're gonna have to deal with.
Mhm.
And I mean, I feel like I just did the best I could, man. And I'm not a bare knuckle boxer. I'm an MMA fighter. I have more skills than just boxing. That's why Lloyd wanted a bare knuckle match. He knew. He said it before the fight that he couldn't beat me in an MMA fight. He said that I'd out wrestle him, I'd out grapple him, which was obviously 100% true. But when him and I locked up, he felt like a child to me. His strength, he had, I mean, he had to be half my strength, maybe even three-quarters of my strength. I felt
Wow.
such a huge strength advantage that I could just move him around and bully him around. But unfortunately, man, it wasn't a wrestling match, it wasn't a grappling match, it wasn't an MMA match, it was a bare knuckle match. And Lloyd's again, he's one of the best in the world, and that's how I'm chalking it up to. He's 3-0 now. I'm
Yeah.
sure bare knuckle BKFC is going to be giving him a big pay raise after this. I was worried about losing him, having shame, but again, I just went out into a totally different sport, following one of the best guys in the world. And although I came up short, I came out with some injuries, but it's all in a day, baby. You guys want to see me back in the bare knuckle cage? Pay me the money. If you're not going to pay me, don't ask me.
The thing is, it's like, yeah, dude, it's one of those things that a lot of MMA fighters don't want to step in and do bare knuckle because of the damage to your hands, all the injuries that can ensue. So no, like, this is not an embarrassment. I think it's a huge accomplishment just to step in there and to put it on the line in the sport that most guys are either scared to do or unwilling to do, one of the, whatever, however you want to explain it or describe it. So just the fact that you made the walk is crazy. Guys, give Justin a round of applause, if you will. Let's give some likes to the stream. He just went into battle. Two Smiley Fingers says, wow. Hella respect. That bare knuckle stuff is crazy. Exactly. Like any normal person. Just Izzy Slots, your boy who was there with us, says Justin the man. M. 4 Productions, bare knuckle changes everything. Is perfect for Mike Perry and Jeremy Stevens. I think Connor's going to be good at bare knuckle too. Oh, there's some crazy rumors about Conor McGregor in the UFC. I don't know if any of it's true, but yeah. So anyways, and then M. 4 Productions spending some time in Sawyer, Michigan. That's interesting. He said he broke his hand in Sawyer, Michigan. That's wild. Okay, Justin, I'm a little out of sorts today because Louise is not here today because she's not feeling well, and my gardener is here, and I got to open my gate. So I'm gonna have to turn it over to you one more time. But why don't you let's continue on in the next big news. Let you give your thoughts first on what happened between Pereira and Ankalaev. I want to give my thoughts. I made a video yesterday already talking about my reaction. I'm going to turn over to Justin. Literally give me 30 seconds. I'm going to be right back. I just got to open the gate here. But Justin, take it away. What are your thoughts of the main title fight and the outcome?
I watched the fight. I watched the whole card the other day, and I can't say I'm surprised. Obviously, I wanted Alex to win. But what a great display of takedown defense. 12 takedown attempts and 0 takedowns from Ankalaev. Obviously, I didn't think Alex won the fight. There's no question about that. I was really bummed. Obviously, I had a little bit of money on Alex, but you can see why Dana White wasn't excited to have Ankalaev as the champion. Just holding him up against the fence. I know he's winning, he's controlling, but man, it's just not what we want to see. And I think that's why Alex Pereira has so many fans, and guys have come around because although he's primarily a kickboxer, he's been able to beat MMA fighters, man. And again, for Ankalaev to go 0 for 12 on takedown attempts, and I don't know, I was a very lackluster fight. Man, I thought Ankalaev won because of the holding him on the cage. But honestly, like there'd be times in the middle of the round where I'd pull up my phone and I'd start scrolling through Instagram because I was so bored with the fight. And congratulations, we got another Russian champion that is going to do what every other Russian fighter does, either going to wrestle fuck guys or pin them up against the fence. And I'm not saying he's not the best in the world. Obviously, he's the best in the world, but from an entertainment standpoint, it's just not what me or most fans want to see. And I know you like that, and you like seeing, and my buddy Aaron, he loves that. But me, maybe it's the old WWE fan in me, man. I want to see big knockouts. I want to see bloody battles, and I just don't think Ankalaev is going to be the guy to bring those kind of fights to the ring.
Okay, it's not that I love that in particular. I like to see strategy unfold as it can within the rule set. So if he can find something that's advantageous to him, that works, that's within the rule set. I don't want to like tell people. I'd hate to see somebody not do something that they know they could do, where they know they could win, but they're like, nah, I want to please the crowd, so I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to lose the fight. Like, that's disappointing to me. I want to see the best fight the best. I want to see the best emerge victorious. That being said, I was really bummed that Ankalaev won. I love Alex Pereira. He's amazing. Dude, I think people miss how special Alex Pereira is. If you really watch him during the walkouts, if you watch him during the stare downs, like, the dude is crazy. He says so much without saying a word. Like, his face does not move. Pay attention. Go back to the walkout. Go back to the stare. I actually literally think Ankalaev was like, what's wrong with this dude? I could see that expression in his face, being like, he just literally is motionless when they stare at each other. So I think he's got something in him that's either so disciplined or so just set an intent on winning, that he's got that crazy, like, stone-faced demeanor. So that's fun. Okay, the aura of Alex Pereira is fun. His striking is amazing. He threw that crazy spinning wheel kick. I thought that was, man, if that would have landed, holy smokes. Like, he's one of the most entertaining and awesome fighters the UFC has ever seen. Not to mention, his activity is insane. I wouldn't be surprised if he's ready to come back in 3 to 4 months. Although I have a sneaking suspicion that he came in injured and compromised into this fight. But we're going to talk about that in a second. And I know people are going to get mad at me and say I'm not giving Ankalaev his credit. Ankalaev gets his credit. He actually showed great striking. Yeah, he hugged him held him against the fence in round 4. But beyond that, he showed really crisp, fast, powerful striking. He had the speed advantage, which I was not expecting. I don't even think Ankalaev's corner was expecting that. Did you hear in between rounds 1 and 2, Ankalaev's corner was saying, you're way faster than him. And I think it wasn't like, hey, we knew you'd be faster than him. It was like, dude, you're faster than him. Like, is that something, Justin, sometimes that, like, you can't really tell the speed differential until two guys get in there together?
Yeah, and and going back to my bare knuckle fight, that's one thing that I felt over Lloyd. I just felt, man, it's, in the heat of battle, because again, Lloyd's been around for so long. I can relate to that, because yeah, like, fuck, going into the second round, Roman and I were talking about, dude, I'm better than this guy and everything. I'm technically better. My reactions are better. I'm faster. I'm stronger. It's like, but sometimes, man, you just can't put it together. Unfortunately for me, fortunately for Ankalaev, he was be able to put it together, man. And I think he's a great fighter. I really do. And obviously he's the world champion. He's the best in the division. He's shown it time and time again. But again, WWE, NFL, MLB, NBA, it's entertainment, man. I just don't want to see guys pressed up against the fence. I want to see guys going out on their shield, and Ankalaev just didn't seem like he wanted to go out on a shield.
I think in general, though, if you look at Ankalaev's past fights, he normally doesn't employ that strategy. For example, when he fought Rakic, it was stand and bang the whole time. I actually thought it was a fun fight. Some people crapped on that fight. I thought it was a pretty interesting fight. I think he employed that strategy here because he was concerned about Alex's striking. And so he wanted to weave that into a strategy. He was also like feinting at certain times, feinting for takedowns just to throw him off his game. Daniel Cormier made the observation. I wonder if you saw this as well, but made the observation that Pereira had his hands really low, lower than where he normally has them, because he was constantly waiting for the takedown, waiting for the shots. So that probably modified his game. Justin, what did you think of Pereira's strategy of the lead leg kicks, which I'm such a fan of just in general? And I've even tried to throw a couple of those in sparring, not that they do any good when, where you're wearing gear, but I always try and throw them just because I feel like it's right there. Boom, flick the calf, flick the inside calf. Now he was throwing it to the outside because they were obviously conventional versus southpaw. But what did you think of that strategy of the leg kicks? Do you think it was a waste of time, or do you think he was actually getting somewhere and actually did damage his lead leg?
Tough to say. If he did do any damage, Ankalaev didn't show it. I love the strategy, especially going against a wrestler, taking away that drive off that front leg when they're taking shots, and that definitely could have compromised his leg. But again, it definitely wasn't enough to win the fight. Me being a leg kick connoisseur, as I like to say, is anytime you can set up that outside leg kick, especially the calf kick, particularly, I love it. But again, Ankalaev to me didn't look fazed by it at all.
Fair point. I saw Israel Adesanya watch the fight, and he gave his reaction. He thought Pereira won. Man, I thought Pereira could have won. I will admit that I'm extremely biased on this front, and I was hoping he won. So I'm like, there's a chance. He won round 1, maybe got round 5, maybe got round 3, and then other people are like, this was ridiculous. It was 4-0 Ankalaev, 4-1 by Ankalaev. He clearly won the fight. Was there any part of you that thought maybe Pereira got it, or were you pretty firm that Ankalaev pulled this off?
I put money on Pereira, so I knew that he lost.
Okay. Okay, well, it is what it is. We got a couple comments. We got a bunch of comments. Let me put them in here. So Andrew Nance says, Justin, when is your fight? Justin's fight was this last Friday. If you want to go back to the beginning of the show, we talk about his Bareknuckle fight, but that was last Friday. If you guys want to check that out, I don't know if you can still get it from Spectation, but anyways, and he goes, let's effing go, Gaethje. Let's go. Let's talk about Gaethje. Hold on. We got a bunch of other comments, so I do want to highlight. Justin dropped Rafa. Yes, that is true. I think Two Smelly Fingers is talking about Pereira's left hook is wicked, though, and his 3/4 uppercut. Alex Pereira doesn't have much personality. He doesn't, but I still love him. And I'm a guy that is very big on listening to fighter interviews. Normally that would be a problem for me to really understand Alex or really get behind him, but his fighting style is so good. It's like his stone-faced demeanor. I don't know, dude. He's just got something that I don't really know how to explain. And I hope he comes back. Before we move on to Gaethje, last thing, what do you think's next for Pereira? I think that's what everybody's talking about. Pereira's so beloved. I hate to say it, but Ankalaev does not have that big of a fan base, at least yet. But what do you think is next for Pereira? Do you think he rematches, or do you think he moves up?
Oh, I think it's an immediate rematch. There's no question. I don't think there's any other. I don't think there's any other thing that can happen right now. And Ankalaev was about it. He's like, yeah, he said, I'll give him the immediate rematch. I think that's very commendable of him, and I think it's a great move. It's a great move to especially for Alex, especially because then we might be just going. The only problem I don't like with the rematch is if Alex goes out there and wins a very close decision. All right, now they're going to fight best of 3.
No, hell no, that's not going to happen. There's no way.
It's just like then we're in that again, rinse and reuse, recycle. But then if he wins, then he has the argument. Oh, well, I gave you an immediate rematch. Like, what the fuck?
Won't happen. UFC won't allow it. No, UFC hates Ankalaev.
So I would love to see Alex get his belt back and then go up and fight the winner of John Jones, Tom Aspinall. I think Ankalaev kind of exposed Alex going against a heavyweight against like John Jones or Tom Aspinall. If Ankalaev can hold him up against the fence, John Jones definitely be able to as well. So kind of deters me from those matchups. But with that being said, I mean, that's why fighters fight. We get to go out there and see what happens. I think an immediate rematch is in store coming up quick.
I think so too. I think Alex can beat him. I really do. I think there was something wrong with him. I just feel like that. I feel like it wasn't vintage Alex. Now, granted, that was probably a lot of that credit has to go to Ankalaev and his style and the fact that the takedown threat was there. But what do you think about Alex's grappling? I mean, Ankalaev went 0 for 11 in terms of takedowns. Now, granted, he did
12
for 12, and he did hold him up against the fence and was successful there. And somebody said, hey, if you want to complain about the fight being boring, you got to complain about Alex not being able to get out from the fence. And I guess that's a fair criticism, but I still think Alex's grappling and wrestling was quite good, considering he never got down to the ground. He stayed on his feet. Yes, he was held against the fence, but he's clearly improving. I mean, were you impressed with your wrestling background? Were you impressed by Alex?
Oh, absolutely, man. Again, 0 for 12. Do you know how hard it is to stuff 1 takedown, 2 takedowns, 3 takedowns, but 12 against a monster, against the new UFC champion, Ankalaev? Like, are you kidding me? Like, win or lose, you got to show him some respect, man. We're talking about a kickboxer that's transitioned to MMA that doesn't have a wrestling base, that just stuffed 12 takedowns in a title fight against a Russian, Dagestani guy that, regardless if he prefers to strike over wrestle, the guy can wrestle, and he stuffed 12 takedowns. I'm very impressed by it. You can see the evolution of Alex's game, and, I know he's not, I don't know, man, like, he just does. I don't know why I like Alex so much, and I feel the same way you do, because, again, he's not, we always talk about, oh, I'm drawn to this fighter because of how he talks to the mic. I'm drawn to this fighter because of this. I don't know why I'm drawn to Alex, man, but I just like him so much. And, just to see the evolution of his game, he's taking this very, very seriously. Obviously, he was wearing a white belt I don't know if it was last year or whatever, in grappling. He has a white belt in wrestling, and now he's fighting the best fighter in the world, stuffing 12 takedowns. It's nothing short of impressive.
Yeah, man, he's the best in everything he does. The face paint, the walking out to his tribal music. I mean, the whole thing is I was really paying attention to all of that this time. And I was just like, dude, he really puts a lot of thought and energy into everything that he does, even in the lead up. He takes it so seriously. And there's just that energy, that aura. I think he's going to come back, and I think he's going to get it done. Tehran says they can do it in October. I've heard that people saying they might fight in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I've heard that exactly. And that will give Alex a lot of time to rest and recover. So I would like that. It does kind of hold up the light heavyweight division. I'm not a huge fan of that, but if it gives Alex a better shot, I'm for it. And then he says, if I'm being honest, I think yeah, I mean, he could beat Alex again. I mean, for sure, that's in the realm of possibility. Man, I don't know. I think Alex can have a lot of growth, a lot of recovery, come back better than ever. And we'll see. Maybe it's 50-50. I don't know. I think Ank is just a bad matchup. Yeah, I think he's not the best matchup. I don't think he's the worst matchup. I think he likes to strike, and I think it's going to be a striking heavy battle next time. And I think if Alex can improve his grappling game even like 10 or 20%, I don't know if that's possible in that period of time, but I think it could be a very different fight. I just have a feeling Alex had some injuries because of the frequency at which he fights. So I think that was also compromising him. That's totally made up by me, by the way. I have not heard that anywhere, but that's just my feeling. Okay, Justin, I got to get to Gaethje versus Gaethje getting the win, because this is your boy, and I can't go super long today because I have a completely stacked day of tutoring and working. But let me turn it over to you. This is your favorite fighter. What are you feeling after he gets the win?
What a great fight. What a great matchup. Way to hold his composure and, talk about a great opponent, man. Ranked number 11 coming in, putting it all on the line against Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, he looked like prime Justin Gaethje, man. He ate some shots. Every time he ate a shot, I was worried he was going to get put out. He ate some shots. He wore some shots. He got in there with some beautiful boxing. Gets that left hand, goes for his. It's a technique that we talk about all the time. Throw that left hook, catch the collar tie, short uppercut. Justin drops him in the second round, man. He looked like Vince's Justin Gaethje to me, and I was really excited. I was happy to see it. Controlled chaos for 15 minutes. Justin Gaethje, man, whatever he's done over to recover his head, I really feel that he's fully recovered. He looked just like he always has. Man, let's go, Justin Gaethje. Let's. I think one more fight, maybe two more fights, he's back in title contention. Now, I don't think that he's in title contention after that one win. I mean, we got to talk about Fiziev, ranked number 11, not even a top 10 opponent. He's already beat him once. He's coming off a big knockout loss from Max Holloway. I don't think that win warrants him a title shot, but I do think it gets him back in the talk. And I think one or two more solid wins, maybe even one win, just because of where Justin's at his career, we can get him up there. But right now, I think it's all Topuria for the title. Justin Gaethje, I still think you're one fight away.
I think depending on timing, depending on contract negotiations, depending on what Ilya's asking for, I think now Justin gives the UFC some leverage. And maybe if Ilya prices himself out, they could slide Justin in there. Javier Mendez already said he'd be down for that fight. And the crowd would love it. It's a fresh matchup. So I think it is a possibility, but at a minimum, one fight and he's back in there. One more victory. He has to get a title shot. No two victories. That would be insane. One victory. He's back in there. I hope it's Justin Gaethje versus Islam next. I'd rather see that. I'd rather put them have Ilya fight somebody else. As I know some people might not like that. I've even heard rumors of Ilya versus Conor. I've heard that. I don't know if it's
Ilya versus Gaethje for number one contendership.
Yeah, I don't want to see Ilya. I want to see. Actually, that'd be okay. Ilya versus Gaethje. All right, Justin. I'm so sorry. I have to wrap. This is such a fun conversation, but guys, I'm really apologize. My schedule's out of control today. I had stuff before. I have stuff.
If you want me to do the fourth topic by myself while you head out, I'll just get off the stream.
Okay, wait. You keep going, Justin. All right, you can talk a little bit more about Gaethje, and the fourth topic is Jaylin Smith retiring. So, guys, I am going to jump off. I think Justin can keep going here. I'm going to try and jump off. It may end the stream though because I started, but see if it keeps going. If this is the end, guys, thank you so much for joining in again. Thank you for everything, for supporting us. We had nice big numbers today as well on the stream, so we really appreciate that. And if Justin keeps going, Justin, go do your thing. And congrats again on going through battle. We're going to post that post-fight video later, probably tomorrow morning. You guys can check that out. It's crazy because it's Justin just speaking from the heart. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.
Anyways, guys, so getting back to the Gaethje, man, it's like when you talk about Justin Gaethje being one of the most action-packed, entertaining fighters of all time, man, and after you get knocked out by Max Holloway the way he did, it was just, man, it was just such a bummer. And I was really worried about his brain being compromised. Commence. We talked about it leading up. Me and Josefa talked about it a bunch. But I tell you what, taking that time off, having coaches like Whitman, man, and a training staff like the UFC taking care of his brain, and man, he came out and he is the most violent guy in MMA. He's arguably the most violent guy ever. And coming from a Division I wrestling base, and he doesn't take guys down. I was just so happy to see Justin Gaethje back in there slinging punches. Fiziev coming out. I know it was a short notice fight for him, ranked number 11th. He had already lost to Justin Gaethje. He had a lot to take on here. Justin Gaethje, man, again, got back to being one fight away from a title fight. But man, does his boxing look good? Does his technique look good, man? I just can't get over that left hook to the collar tie, to that short uppercut dropping him. I was like, oh man, we're gonna finish here. Justin Gaethje coming in this fight as an underdog, which I obviously had money on Justin Gaethje being the underdog. He had already beat Fiziev, ranked number 11th, going in there. But man, what a performance by Justin Gaethje. I really think the highlight is back. Can't tell you how many more fights I think he has, because again, when you wear that kind of damage, and even in that fight, he took some damage, he took some shots, but you could tell his head was back to close to 100% as we're gonna get, man. And I don't want to see him fight that much more. Justin Gaethje, again, one of my favorite fighters of all time, one of the greatest fighters ever to do in the UFC, one of the most, if not the most exciting fighter of all time. I'd like to see him get an opportunity in Islam, go knock Islam out, bring the belt back to the United States, and retire on top. Moving on to topic number 4, we're talking about Jaylin Turner, man. And Jaylin Turner, what an incredible fighter, a long, rangy fighter, man. He's been around, he's fought a who's who in the sport, goes out there. And, the thing I'm really impressed about Jaylin Turner is I know he's retiring, but he's retiring on his terms. And I just think in MMA, you just don't get to do that enough. You look at me, a lot of guys thought I should have retired, once I got cut from the UFC or once I lost a couple fights out of the UFC. And dude, you guys can call me the Tony Ferguson of the regional circuit, because I keep fighting these tough dudes, man. And, out of all the guys that I've fought, out of the UFC, bunch of UFC vets, PFL vets, Bellator vets, this BKFC vet, Bellator vet. If you guys don't know, Lloyd Mix beat Patricky Pitbull or whatever his name was, beat him in the first round back in Bellator earlier in the day. So, I don't feel that I've been able to retire on my own terms, because I just want to keep going. And you look at someone like Jaylin Turner, who might have been at the end of their career. We don't know what his contract said. It might have been his last fight on his contract. He might have been going into the fight, with the win or lose mentality of, I'm going to retire after this fight. And, I just want to say thank you to Jaylin Turner for all the exciting fights he's put on throughout the years. I hope he enjoys retirement. And I'm just really grateful to see a fighter go out there and retire on his own terms, man. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. So, guys, give Jaylin Turner a reach out on Instagram. Tell him you love him. Tell him how great he is, man. And Jaylin, if you see this video, I hope you enjoy retirement. And I hope your next endeavors in life are as good as the UFC, man. And some coming up from a guy that's on the brink of retirement. I'm still, if I was wearing gloves in the cage, I would have took one glove off, because I don't really have any plans on fighting anymore in the future. But I have a great management team, RAI, great coaching by my manager, Roman Athletic Institute. And man, if they can spark my interest in get me a good payday, I'd be happy to step back in the ring. But without that, I don't know if you'll see the Guitar Hero anymore. But Jaylin Turner, again, retiring on his own terms. Hats off to you. And guys, thank you for everything, all the support, all the messages I received through the weekend. And until next time, guys, the Guitar Hero will be around running the 10-7, doing Division I commentary, doing commentary for Fusion, doing commentary for Tough Enough. Just want to say once again, thank you guys for all the support, and we will see you guys Friday. Take it easy.